we have to understand, I mean, when you understand 9/11 not only as, okay, they, for one, when it comes to false flags, you guys may have heard this before. If not, I encourage you to check out my episode of the Pyramid of Power called The False Flag Deception. But there's typically this view that you either have what they call a MIHOP or a LIHOP. They made it happen on purpose or they let it happen on purpose. This is when people, government agencies, intelligence agencies, they get a warning about some alleged terrorist attack. Whether or not it's real or not is a whole other thing. But let's say they get a warning about a legitimate terrorist attack and they're like, we could allow this to happen and take advantage of it. That whole never let a good crisis go to waste. That's a let it happen on purpose, LIHOP. Or they literally fund the alleged terrorists. They engineer things. They move stuff around and make it happen on purpose, MIHOP. So there's still a discussion about what 9/11 was or is. But the point is, when it comes to false flags, 9/11 is one of the biggest. So I encourage you to go to thepyramidofpower.net, and you can see all 4 seasons of that we've released so far, and including we put the first two seasons in Spanish. You can check it out there. Click on season 4. It'll open up here, and you've got the technocratic state, the false flag deception, and we're about to go over the latest episode, which we just released, called the Pedo-Class. But I encourage you to watch the false flag deception. It's not focused on 9/11, although it does give you a little bit of a summary of 9/11 and the 9/11 truth movement. It's mainly focused on the Oklahoma City bombing and the Syria gas attacks claims, which are also a false flag event. So the point is, these things do happen. And, it's hard, I think, for some people to wrap their mind around this. Honestly, I actually tweeted earlier today I was posting on social media saying, I've never really understood here, let me just quote myself real quick because I don't know what I said exactly, but it's basically making the point here that I don't really get how people who are super awake in some areas then think that voting is going to fix things. What I wrote is, I guess I've never understood how some people can be open to the idea that the 9/11 attacks were not done by Osama bin Laden and Muslim terrorists hiding in caves, but rather allowed to happen and helped along by US, British, and Israeli intelligence agencies, and then turn around and advocate for voting. Like, you understand the depth and the depravity of control these people exert over our world, and you think you're going to fix things with voting. You don't think that the predator class doesn't have that on lock already. And for example, and I've said this before, it's really weird to me. And if RFK's team would let me interview him, which they refused to, which is why I had to chase him down in the hallway and ask him about Zionism. If they would let me interview him, I just wanted to ask a simple question, which I think is a genuine question. It probably would open up some interesting dialogue. I said, RFK Jr. acknowledges that the CIA had a role in his father and uncle's death. And at the same time, he thinks voting is going to fix things. Like, it's beyond my understanding of, like, okay, maybe he's still just trying to get a message out, whatever. Like I said, maybe I'm just out of touch, but this just doesn't seem logical to me. And of course, this doesn't mean that I'm black-pilled or everything's hopeless, because the reality is that politicians aren't the answer. The real hope is in you and me and all of us coming together and reclaiming our power and not putting our faith into corrupted politicians who are funded by the Zionists and the Bilderberg Group, and instead recognizing that voting is not going to fix things. I don't want to get off track. We're going to come back to exit and build later. We got some exciting announcements. But my point is, when you understand how the depth of this, and you understand that these freaking people are psycho and they will pull false flag events and they will kill their own people. They do not give a damn. And they will use them then to manipulate you emotionally to get whatever their end game is. When you understand that, I think, it's a little bit of a gut check and a reality check. Again, doesn't mean we should be black-pilled, doesn't mean things are hopeless at all. It just means we need to contend with the reality of what we're facing. And it's not a beautiful reality in terms of how sick these people are. But the other side is that we have the opportunity to take care of our own lives, to come together, to say, you know what, I'm not going to play your game anymore. I'm going to reclaim my own power. Anyways, before I get off track, let's talk about the Pyramid of Power. So as I mentioned, season 4, we have chapter 14, the false flag deception. We released this one back in June, I think, July. And we just released this Monday. I'm so excited about it. If you're watching on YouTube, you saw that we did a marathon and we played all 14 of the episodes in a row. And then on Monday night, we premiered the brand new episode, the Pedo-Class. I highly encourage you to watch this. Of course, and I'll say this again, this episode contains vivid discussions of child abuse. Viewer discretion is advised. It talks about my work on the Finders. Of course, it gets a little bit into Jeffrey Epstein, talks about the Utah ritual abuse investigation, talks about the role of religion, how you can find this sick, twisted behavior in all sectors of society. It's not just Democrats, and it's not just Republicans. It's not just black folks or white folks or Mexicans. It's not just, the Japanese or the British. It's an all pervasive thing in our society. You find it in teachers, coaches, police, politicians, celebrities, media people, etc. Obviously just regular old people involved in this sick thing. And this is a reality. Like we have to find a way to contend with it. This is the whole point of the Pyramid of Power, is like bringing you dark topics, but at the same time saying, hey, we have a chance. What can we do? How can we address these in a real way, not put our head in the sand and think about solutions? So this one, my goal with the Pyramid of Power, you guys have heard me say before, is to do episodes that are all 30 minutes or under. So it can just, be nice, and you can tell your friend, look, just sit down for 30 minutes. I promise. Just watch this episode, 30 minutes, and just tell me what you think, right? This one went a little bit over. It's 42 minutes, but it's because as we're getting deeper and progressing up the pyramid, it's a little bit harder to break down these complex topics with just 30 minutes. I'm still striving for that, but give me some grace if they go a little bit over. And these last 3 episodes with the season 4 are honestly, I think, like award-winning on another level. I'm so blessed to work with the editors that I do. All I do is do the hundreds of hours of research, narrate the audio, and puts together some direction on the script. They take it and just run with it and make it so beautiful. And these 3 episodes alone, I think, make the entire series worth watching. But the whole thing, I rewatched it as we were doing the marathon the other day, and I'm extremely proud of this work. I think this is some of the best work I've ever done, besides the many, many articles I produced. This stuff will stand the test of time, and I hope will continue to wake up people. Thank you all who are giving me very kind comments. Thank you those who say you use this to homeschool your kids, or you've used it to wake up your friends. Like, that's exactly the reason I put the effort and time in. As we get deeper, we're going to be going to some of these topics that are for those who are, more versed in the conspiracy world. But for those who are new, a lot of this stuff will be brand new, obviously. But even I've heard from friends who are seasoned researchers and saying, every episode I watch the Pyramid of Power, I learned something new. And that's a big compliment for me, because I'm digging deep and I have my own original research. But as you guys know, the goal of this was to take the best books and the best documentaries that exist out there already from people like James Corbett and others over the years, and highlight them, not necessarily to reinvent the wheel when it's not necessary, but also to use my original research. So every episode, as I mentioned, tries to be under 30 minutes. It also features recommended reading, recommended watching. Hey, please check out this book if you want to learn more. Check out this documentary to get a deeper dive. And it ends with solutions. So it's a very conscious effort to try to wake people up, but also do it without being Alex Jones and doom porn and, the world's going to end and the police state's arriving tomorrow. Because I'll be honest, when I watched Endgame and all those things those years ago, they did help me, but I also was in panic freak mode. Like, some of you guys may know what I'm talking about. We're like, oh my God, it's about to happen. It's all about to happen. I got to freaking tell all my family. And you just drive people crazy. And I did that for a while. I call that like the Alex Jones phase, the confusion, sometimes angry, whatever, fear stage. And then eventually, hopefully, you get to a point of like, okay, this stuff is happening, but not right tomorrow. Like, I've got some time. Let me, get out of panic mode and start thinking about this logically, right? And so I had to do that. And this is the kind of series that I wish existed when I was first waking up. And also, man, it's such a difficult time, I think, to be waking up, post QAnon, like I was talking about earlier with the fracturing and people thinking Trump's a hero and this and that. Like, when you wake up, it's like, there's so many different directions and paths you could be pulled down, and it can be a scary thing. So this is a tool for you guys. I'm putting in a labor of love into this. I haven't been paid a single dime. Every bit of money we've raised over the last 3 years that we've been doing this has gone to pay my editors. Of course, when we're done, the goal is to turn it into a DVD series and to put it on USB drives and sell those and put those out into the world so you can own your own copies. And I'm probably going to turn this into a book as well, and basically just take all the scripts and kind of edit them to be more book format and then put it into a book. And we'll probably sell, hey, DVD or thumb drive with the Pyramid of Power book. Take it, go wake your friends up. So this is, one of my biggest life projects. And again, I'm very grateful to everybody who has watched and tuned in. Let's go ahead and watch a short clip from the Pyramid of Power, Chapter 15, the Pedo-Class. This clip was made by my editor, Stefano. Thank you, Steph, for all your hard work. And we will be putting out more clips on social media in the coming days. So I encourage you guys to send your friends. You can send them to the pyramidofpower.net. It's also, of course, at theconsciousresistance.com. And we have an Odyssey channel specifically just for all of the Pyramid of Power episodes. And now it is live on YouTube. And so far, none of them have been taken down. But let's check out this quick clip.
The longer one spends time tumbling down the rabbit hole, researching the various pieces of the Pyramid of Power, the more likely you are to learn about examples of child abuse. From teachers and sports coaches to law enforcement and celebrities and politicians, it certainly appears as if there is a society-wide problem with pedophilic behavior and the abuse of young children. Unfortunately, examples of this behavior can be found in all political parties, religions, ethnicities, professions, and lifestyles. A quick search on the news on any given day will reveal stories of arrests made on the local, regional, national, and international levels.
So that is thepyramidofpower.net, thepyramidofpower.net. That was just, like I said, a quick teaser. The whole thing is 42 minutes long. Go check it out. I mean, I was going to say I love it, and I kind of hesitated because I love it as much as you can love a documentary episode about pedophilia and child abuse. Obviously, super serious topic. But yes, as a director, as a writer, as a journalist, I'm excited. I'm proud of the work we've done. And it's all been 100% crowdfunded by you guys. So that's just the biggest blessing to me. All of you care enough to help us complete this series. And let me just tell you what's coming up. We have Chapter 16, which will be coming out towards the end of this year. I'd say probably November, maybe by my birthday on December 1st. Chapter 15 will be coming, or excuse me, Chapter 16. And Chapter 16, for those who don't know, I release these in quote unquote seasons, so 4 episodes at a time, and then we sort of take a break. So if you see on the website, it's broken up into seasons. So we're now on season 4, which is pretty much the end. The final normal episode is going to be called Religion and Secret Society. So the season 4 is the technocratic state, the false flag deception, the Pedo-Class, and then it'll go to religion and secret societies. And, so for me, that is going to be an episode that'll probably trigger some of my audience. The things that we're going to report on about the role of religion in keeping people in mind control and the role of secret societies manipulating world events. That's where we're going to kind of conclude. And as you see, when you watch the episode, you'll see like every episode goes up the bricks of the pyramid. So we're at that final brick, the 16th. That's where things are going to end. But then in 2025, early 2025, we're going to have the final episode, the 17th episode, which is going to be all focused on answering who or what is at the top of the pyramid. And so that is going to feature all the people who've already been in this, including Whitney Webb, James Corbett, Richard Grove, G. Edward Griffin, Peter Dale Scott, David Icke is going to be in it, Daniel Esterlin. There's a few others who've contributed to it. Mark Passio is going to be in the next 2 episodes as well. It's going to be an epic end to it all, and I'm going to allow everybody to share their different views and opinions on who they are, whether that's people who say it's the Jesuits, it's the Jews, it's the reptilians, whatever. I'm going to let them share their views, and then I will offer my own thoughts based on my research, and we'll come to a nice conclusion. And this will be a tool you can use to wake your friends and family up. So here's the homework for you if you're interested. If you know somebody who specializes in that type of work, I'm talking about the high level, like pointing at who are the families, the Black Venetian nobility, the Jesuits, etc. I know of all these different theories. I've heard different things. I've watched a lot of stuff. But who do you think are the experts in those fields? I also plan to have Adam Green on there as well. I know he has a lot to say about religion and other things of that nature. I'm looking for somebody who is a quote unquote expert on the idea that the Jesuits are at the top of it. Again, I know there's others who say it's the Zionist lobby, and they're definitely up there. So feel free to reach out to me via social media or comment or email me to let me know who you think is who do you think is a great researcher in terms of the top of the pyramid. And I'm talking about quality journalists, educated people who know their shit, and they might end up being featured on the documentary series. So one more time, check that out at The Pyramid of Power, thepyramidofpower.net, and check out the latest episode. I really would appreciate it if you do so.